Iowa State wide receiver Jayden Higgins had a monster 2024 season. So should he be the Jets' pick in the second round? Let's put on the All-22 and find out together. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? It's Luke here from Play Like a Jet, and we're back in the film room with another All-22 breakdown, and today we're going to discuss Jayden Higgins. There are a plethora of wide receivers in the mix in day 2, so the question we're going to answer is, should the Jets take him at number 42 overall? Let's start with what Higgins does really well. When running vertically, he protects space and makes contested body catches. Kind of reminds me of how Allen Lazard played in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. So you can see Higgins, bottom of your screen, he's number 9 for Iowa State. Off the snap, towards the boundary, does a nice job holding off the corner with his arms, protects that catch space, and hauls in the over-the-shoulder catch. This is a really common play on his tape. He doesn't get a ton of separation, we're going to discuss that, but does a nice job hanging in there, making sure that he maintains that gap and protects that drop zone for the football. Really nice way to start the video. This was a consistent part of his film. It just doesn't mean it's going to translate in the NFL. And Higgins worked through contact really well. Another example, he's at the top of your screen on this occasion. Look how he gets through the press of the corner, works back towards the football. This is a really difficult catch, has to come back, the ball's on the inside, and makes a really difficult grab to get the first down for the Cyclones. Again though, you're not going to see a ton of separation, that's not who he is as a player, but on top of that, he's not someone that goes and gets it outside of his frame. The majority of the time when Higgins is making these contested catches, they're to his body and he's using it to protect space and to go inside the defender. That was the overall theme, but when he was on the outside, the thing he did best was make contested body catches. Another example of it, I saw 4 or 5 in the 4 games that I broke down. And one more to finish, again emphasizing the same point here for Higgins from the slot. And this is what entices me because I think it's going to be a bigger part of his game in the NFL. I'm going to explain why, but does a really nice job. Outside release, goes to the space, and look at this back shoulder. He's 6'3", he's got the size, enough speed for this to be a consistent threat at the next level. I like it from the slot. These kind of fades are going to be a staple. I think he's going to be that kind of receiver. But now let's get to the biggest negative. Jayden Higgins is not a separator. He doesn't have a lot of twitch, and as a result, he doesn't have a lot of cushion on his routes. That's an issue when it gets to the NFL. He's in the slot here, left-hand side of the formation, running this vertical route. Look how the corner is able to stay over the top, and there's absolutely nowhere for the football to go here for his quarterback. I think he does a really nice job at the line of scrimmage with his release packages 9 times out of 10. He's got nice feet, but he just isn't able to have that acceleration to take advantage of the release package. This was something that really concerned me, and it gave me cause for pause. Very similar again, but this time you're seeing Higgins against off coverage, should be able to separate. Let's have a look at this route. Stutter step at the top, just nowhere to go. The DB does a great job reading his hips, he sits on the route. This isn't him playing zone watching the quarterback. There's no tell, it's just that Higgins isn't a very dynamic route runner, and as a result he isn't able to threaten the corner deep to get him to back off, so he's able to squat on the route and close downhill. This is something I saw more than I wanted. Look how he's not very crisp when he shuts down this route. It's kind of very upright, doesn't sink his hips, isn't able to separate, and that is just tight man coverage. I would have liked to see Higgins do a little bit more to beat man coverage. I think this is going to be a pretty big concern. And one more example, very similar thing, top of your screen against that off man. Just look how the corner is not threatened by the deep speed, is able to sit over the top and watch the hips. He has a few tells when running routes. I don't think, as I said before, he's very crisp with his movements at the stem, and that caused him some issues trying to separate. But I mentioned the release package. Let's get back to the positives. The thing that Higgins does well is create some confusion at the line of scrimmage with really nice footwork. He's in the slot here, again, something I think will translate very well at the next level. Have a look at this stutter step release, how he fires his feet, freezes the DB, and wins to the inside. This is something that was quite common with his game. Look how he just goes bang, 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 fires his feet, stutter step release, and he gets that separation against man coverage. He thinks he's going to threaten the outside shoulder. He darts back on the slant, and it's a touchdown. Have a look at these. Very, very similar plays. Bottom of your screen on this occasion, Higgins, same kind of release to the inside and gets the 2-point conversion. When he was in the red zone, he was able to separate more, which sounds funny and almost ironic because it's harder to separate there, but he didn't have to rely on the acceleration to then maintain that gap that he got at the line of scrimmage. Very similar release package though, going to see more of a stutter step release, threatens the outside shoulder with that fade that you saw so often, and then darts across the corner's face. And one more. Again, same position, left-hand side of your screen. Higgins with the same move, threatening the outside shoulder and crossing the face. I want to see him score here, though. This is the lack of acceleration I talked about, but really nice job just threatening the corner's outside shoulder. Look how he opens up his hips. He's worried about it, and then bang, stab with that left leg. Really consistent with his release package, but again, it's the things that come after that gave me concern with Higgins. But it's these kind of routes that made me believe that Jaden could be a really nice big slot at the next level. He's on the outside on this occasion, but when he runs digs and is able to protect the space to the inside against man coverage, it was the best he looked as a route runner. Have a look at the nuance here at the line of scrimmage. We're going to wing to the inside, make sure we get the leverage and the upper hand when running the dig. We then cut off at the top of the route. Beautiful. He's got that big body and frame. I'd love to say he's going to be like a Mike Evans type or a Higgins on the outside, but he's not. He's that big slot, and that's still got value, but I think that's where the question marks at 42 start for me. Do you want a big slot receiver who's more of a possession guy that high in the NFL draft? And the last thing I didn't love was a bit of a lack of competitiveness above the rim. He's the bottom of your screen. I want to see Higgins go up and get this on the little fade in the end zone, but more often than not, he wants to basket catch. And I mentioned this earlier with protecting the space. Look how he wants to catch this ball on his chest. Where's the extended arms? Where's the ability to go and snatch that football and use our size and our frame? I just didn't see it enough. And again, it wasn't a one-off, this time top of your screen. Look how Higgins wins a little bit with the release, but again, just wants to basket catch. I want to see him use those arms, the catch radius. That was disappointing for me. That's why I think he won't last on the outside at the NFL, It's because he doesn't have the route running, the ability to separate, and I just didn't think he was competitive enough above the rim. So that's my take on Iowa State receiver Jayden Higgins. I liked aspects of his game. His line of scrimmage work with his release package was nice. He protects the space vertically down the field very well. He's a big body possession receiver, but I have questions around separation and his ability to catch the ball away from his frame.